Welcome everybody to YuGiOh Gaming. We're back with another event. This time it's Bonz. So we have essentially a Halloween event at Christmas. And why not? Halloween, one of my favourite times of the year. Now this is kind of a roaming event, but it's also really a duelathon event. So this is one where you're just going to grind out games with duelists, with legendary duelists, PvP. To obtain points to eventually collect bones and a couple of other rewards along the way. Now, as with a couple of the previous roaming events, the more you duel, the quicker he'll pop back up on the board. Can't be fought at the gate. It is simply duel and duel and duel, and eventually he'll pop up. I have had a level 20, but basically I've had mainly level 30s, and only just now have I had a level 40. Hence why I'm now finally getting this video together. So, as with other duelathons, you get a set number of points each day. Achieve those points and you will lock 5 rewards. You can see I've already done mine, which are coming to an end. It's nearly the next day. You'll then get your cumulative points over the course of the event, so this is what we're really after. At 800 points, you'll get yourself a Ghost Trick Stein. Cannot be normal summoned unless you control a Ghost Trick monster. Once per turn you can change the card to face down defense position, and when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can add 1 Ghost Trick spell trap card from your deck to your hand, and you can only use it once per turn. Most of the Ghost Tricks seem to be about flipping them back down again. We'll come back to some of those. So 1900 points, you will get Bonz. The first time we've had a chance to get him, of course. So really just duel, duel, duel. Ghost Trick Witch later on. Cannot be normal summoned unless you control a Ghost Trick monster. Once per turn you can change her face down defense position. And once per turn you can target 1 face up monster your opponent controls. Change it to a face down defense position. And then the very last one at 3,700 points is 100 gems. So obviously most people will be going for the 1,900 points. You may as well keep going if you've got it in you for the 3,100, although the Witch does drop as well. Now, Bonz does have, amongst his level up rewards once you've unlocked him, King of the Skull Servants. The original attack of this card is the combined number of King of the Skull Servants and Skull Servants in your graveyard times 1000. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can banish 1 other King of the Skull Servants or a Skull Servant from the graveyard to special summon him. Quite a nice card. How useful he'll be, I don't know. Will you be able to get that number of cards into your graveyard? I need to think that one through a little bit. Of course, Bonz does have his drop rewards as well, as you're dueling him as part of the event. Again, Pumpkin, the King of Ghosts. If you didn't get them last time, now's your chance. The Ghost Trick Stein that we've just seen. Call of the Mummy, I think we've seen this one before as well. Once per turn you can special summon 1 zombie from your hand. You must have no monsters to activate and to resolve the effect. And Ghost Trick Vanish. Reveal 1 Ghost Trick monster in your hand this turn. Ghost Trick cards you control and face down defense position monsters you control cannot be targeted by or be destroyed by card effects. He does have a few other drop cards, including the ones that make the King of the Skull Servants work. As you're dueling, of course, as we've said, Bonz will appear. And when you fight him, you'll get more points than you will fighting against any of the other ones in ranked, the legendaries, the vagabond. So he's the one that's going to pay out for you and speed the process up. And of course, we're going to show you how to farm him. Because you may as well get his drop rewards while you're at it and get those points. And again, as per previous duelathons, each time you fill up your duel meter, there's a chance that your next one will get a points bonus. So that's what we're playing for. Those are the cards we're looking for. Let's take a look at the deck. So we're going with Labyrinth Builder. This deck will work for both level 30 and 40. I'll show you both. We have, first of all, the Fiend Mega Cyber. This is part of our end game that you'll see. This is what will add our points onto our vassal to allow us to use our usual technique of passage and union attack to go for the 10,000 points. Vassal, of course. The 2 union attacks. We also have a Shard of Greed. Bonz likes to strum his deck down and we need to get ahead of him. For the same reason, I'll come back to a couple of these, but for the same reason, we have 3 Jars of Greed. If you've got more of the shards, put those in. I only have the 1, hence I've got the jars. But also, Pot of Benevolence. That allows us to put 2 of his cards from his graveyard back into his deck. Useful not only to get ahead of him, but to get a couple of particular cards back out of his graveyard. Both the level 30 and 40 have different cards we want to remove. You'll see those coming up, but for the level 30, we need to get the Bacon Saver out of his graveyard. And we have 2 ways. One is the Pot of Benevolence. And on the level 40, it's the Skull Servants that we want to get out of there to stop him boosting his King of the Skull Servants. The other way is the Gravedigger Ghoul. That allows us to get those cards out of his graveyard as well. Then if we just go back, we have Shield and Sword. This is part of our end game, which you'll see, allowing us to switch the attack and defense and go for the 10,000 points. Of course, we have a Secret Pass to the Treasures. You can't run this deck without it, as I'm sure you all know by now. And then we have 4 traps. Burst Rebirth, pay 2,000 life points, target 1 monster in your graveyard and special summon it in face down defense position. Along with Puzzle Reborn, if exactly 1 monster you control and no other cards are destroyed by a card effect, target it and special summon it. The reason we put these 4 in is primarily for the level 40. He can use Tribute to the Doomed and get rid of your monster. This, as long as you've got it down on the table, you can put it straight back out and your defense is set up again. Of course, as I say, we're using Labyrinth Builder, and that's the basic gist of the deck. We're just going to get our monster out, soak everything up. He won't do anything to us. If he uses Tribute, we use a trap, and then we keep playing out, getting ahead of him so that we deck out first, and then we go for the kill. And as I say, I'll show you both of those now. Okay, so here we go with level 30. As you would expect, a lot easier than level 40. There's a few things extra he does at level 40. What we're really worried about with this one is end turn. If he has Bacon Saver in his graveyard, we definitely want to get that out with our Gravedigger Ghoul. That can stop our attack and obviously stop the farm. Okay, so we definitely don't need the Shield and Sword and the Union attack just yet. So we'll go ahead, bring out our card, pop those back into the deck. We want one of our traps down, just on the off chance it gets removed, but I don't think it will at level 30. And obviously want to draw some cards. He does thin his deck with this, not quite as bad as level 40, but we'll still try and strum our cards down, obviously. So there we go, 1 Bacon Saver in the graveyard. We don't really need to do anything at this point. We only want one of our traps down. We don't really need more than that. We want to keep ourselves some space as well. And go ahead with our Jar of Greed again. Okay, I won't use the benevolence just yet. We'll keep going. And obviously we do need to use that, but I just want to wait and see what else he gets in there. I don't really want to put anything back in his hand just yet. I'd rather get those bacon savers out. So we'll end the turn there. Nothing he can do that really worries us. We just want to make sure we don't have him deck out before us. And so we just keep going. Okay, what's he got here? Shadow Ghoul, 100 attack for each monster in your graveyard. Okay, well, we'll get rid of... Okay, so we're going to go ahead and banish those two. Gets rid of the one bacon saver anyway. Takes a card out of our hand. We still have one in our hand and another one in the deck in case there's any more of the bacon sabers. Okay, good. Shard agreed. Again, just all about the race to the end of the deck. Right, we don't really need all of these traps. We really just wanted the one down. We'll get rid of him. Zombie World, okay, everything goes up a level, I think, and turns everything into a zombie. Oh no, it doesn't go up a level, just everything becomes a zombie. Can't tribute summon monsters except zombies. That's okay. We don't care about that. So we use our Shard of Greed to get ahead. We use our Jar of Greed for the next turn. And at this point, how many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. What's he got there? Okay, I could shuffle those back into his deck, I suppose. I don't really need the trap, that can go. In fact, you know what? What I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to get rid of one of the pots. And our other trap. Pumpkin, I do like his animation. Still not a threat. He gains 100 attack each turn for 4 turns. So that's really not going to hamper us. And of course we use our Jar of Greed. And get ahead again. Okay, so now we're starting to get clogged a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, we've got 8 again. Let me just double check what he's got in his list. And do you know what? You can have those 2 cards back. We'll use the pot. And we'll give him back his 2 monsters. Other than that, yeah, we pretty much want the cards that we've got left for our end turn. I think what I will do... Will I? Yes, I'm going to go ahead and set the Gravedigger Ghoul. We can get rid of our trap. Okay, we really don't need that. They're not going to do anything. So we'll get rid of our other Gravedigger. Okay, so final turn. Let me just double check this. Red Eye Zombie Dragon. Yep, that's not really going to do anything. Let's just make sure he definitely doesn't have a bacon saver. No, he doesn't. Okay, so that's all good. So we now go into our end turn. Our Mega Cyber we're not going to do just yet. If we play him first, we kind of screw ourselves. So first things first. We'll change our Labyrinth. Shield and Sword. Swap those over. Now we special summon our Mega Cyber. And then our Gravekeeper. And now it's just our usual trickery. Obviously our secret pass to the treasures. Our 2 union attacks. Change the battle phase and we go in for the kill. So he's got nothing except that bacon saver that can stop that. And there we go, level 30 bones farmed. And when level 40 comes up, I will show you that too. Do we get anything? We got something shiny. We got 2 something shinies. Okay. We got his monster rebone, and we got a ghost trick stein. Okay, awesome. There you go, and of course a few more points there towards our meter. Level 30 done. So finally level 40 has appeared. It's taken a long time. I've had a level 20, lots of level 30s, and finally we get a level 40. So let's see if we can do this with the same deck. We should be able to. As I've said before though, it's ever so slightly different in terms of what we need to do. Or rather, there's a bit more that we need to do and watch out for. Okay, so we do not have one of our traps. But we will go ahead and activate Shard of Greed. We really only want 1 card down on the table at a time if we can do it. So we'll activate our skill. Our Vassal and Secret Passage we don't need until the end game, so they can go. Now the only card we have to worry about without having a trap down is forget the name of it now. The tribute, where he can tribute my card. It'll come back to me, or we'll see it, one or the other. Thankfully I'm getting away with it for now. Tribute to the Doomed, thank you, that's the card. Right, we got one of our traps. I would rather have the other one, but this one will do it. And of course we get it now, but not to worry. Okay, we're going to set that just to try and get ahead. We still want to get ahead, so we still want our cards that pull ours out. We still want to use those pots to shuffle cards back into his deck. He's a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? He definitely streams his deck down more than he does with a level 30. That's the basics of what I'm trying to get at. We don't need to play any of those for now, so we'll end the turn. Because we only want 1 trap down and he's only going to use Tribute to the Doomed once, we can get rid of the other ones as a priority to keep other stuff in our hand. And so we'll go ahead and do that now. We still need our grave diggers. There's tribute, okay. We will go ahead, activate our trap. Bring him back. And we're good. Now, obviously we're not going to use our grave digger yet. In fact, let me set Jar of Greed. I don't believe he has another one. I am, however, going to put another trap down just to be safe. And there it is. There's Sing. They're both going to sit there now. That's okay, though. I still only need the one spot on the board. It's unfortunate, but that's how it is. That's why really you only want to play the one card in your spell trap zone. I was hoping to get away with it. But as long as we've got that one spot free, that's all we need. So nothing we need to do just for the moment. Let me just remind myself what we've got here. King of the Skull Servants, original attack of the card is the combined number of King of the Skull Servants and Skull Servants in the graveyard times 1,000. So those are the cards we want to strip out of his graveyard when we get the opportunity, obviously with the Gravedigger Ghouls. At the moment, what has he got? He's only got the one, so I'm not going to worry about that. Well, in the turn, I will lose one Gravedigger. I want to keep a hold of that pot, but I'm certainly not putting that tribute to the Doomed back into his hand. Yeah, I'll get rid of one Gravedigger. I want to keep the other one for the reasons I've just mentioned. Okay, so we'll get rid of the trap. I really don't think we need the other one. Bit of a misplay on my part, putting another trap down along with our Jar of Greed. However, we are ahead now. He's got two of those in his graveyard. I'm going to go ahead and use my Gravedigger. Get rid of both of those, thank you. Just give us some breathing room. And there goes another one. Okay, we'll get rid of our Jar of Greed. Okay, now that he's got a couple of monsters in his graveyard, I'll go ahead with a pot. Just keep ourselves ahead of him. And that also takes out that servant. I should say he does have Pumpkin in this deck, but again, that shouldn't cause you any issues. He can't really get anywhere near you. That's fine. We'll end the turn. We'll get rid of a pot. Okay, so on to the end game. As we've done before, we can just flip him over. Again, important we use Shield and Sword first to swap the attack and defense only on that monster. Again, we need to do him first. Special summon. Then we can bring out our Gravekeeper. And then the usual Secret Pass. Union Attack. And again. Into the battle phase. And that's Bonz level 40. So slightly different in what you need to do. Level 40, really don't do what I did, just put one card down in your spell trap zone. But your Gravekeepers on the level 30 are to get rid of the Bacon Savers. And on the level 40, it's to take out those cards that pump up his other one. And let's see how we do. Fantastic. Nice that we have the bonus duel underway, otherwise it's still 7,000. You can see how long it's taken me to get a level 40 to pop up, because you can see I've nearly got Bonz already. However, I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it helps. Good luck for yourselves getting your Bonz and for getting any cards from him that you may want. Thank you for watching Daddy DL Gaming. You can follow, like, share, tweet, and if you're feeling generous, you can donate on Patreon, because Daddy always needs a new pair of shoes.